Good morning, everyone. All right. So first, I want to say this is going to have to be done in two parts. This is going to be part one. Okay, you guys. So, and this is a reading around the live that Phil did last night. So I suggest that everybody get on to Telegram, go over to Phil Godlewski, and listen to the live that he did last night, so that you better understand what this reading is all about. So in Phil's live last night, he read a document. He claimed that this document was supposed to have been read by 45 on the night of the Super Bowl, is what it sounded like, because it said during the game. And basically what he read to us, if it had have been delivered, would have been like the answer to our prayers, right? Because it's what we're all waiting for. We're all waiting for a big announcement to say to everyone, listen, we've been in this mission to extract the cabal. In fact, that was even the word that they used for the mission in this document. They called it extract. And it said that, so he basically said, he explained what the cabal was up to, kind of explained the cabal anyways, and said that we'd been in this mission to extract them. And yeah, and it had said that over the coming weeks we would be receiving notices via our laptops, cell phones, pads, radio, TV, that would give us instruction as to what to do. So I really suggest that you guys all go over onto Telegram and you watch Phil Godlewski's live that he did last night. He always puts it back up. So the first thing I needed to know, I needed to know if the document that was read was a legitimate document, and was it true, and had it actually been prepared for 45 to read to us. And I got yes. I got the Emperor. And you guys know that's my alliance card. So yes, it was real, and it was probably prepared. Actually, the actual person who probably prepared it was a woman, and probably a clairvoyant woman. A very strong, powerful woman, put it that way, with some gifts. So it had been prepared by the Alliance. It was a real legitimate document. Across from that, they really felt like it was time, that it was a good time. This is a strategy card. So they felt that it was a good card, good time. And it was actually, if you look at this Lover's card, it was meant to be read by more than just one person. So yes, in Phil's live, he even speculated the way it was written, it could be read by several people with just a couple of lines changed. And that's what I'm getting here too, that it was like deals being made probably around the world. Other leaders would have actually come on and read that document too, only applied it to their country. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting that was all legitimate, that it was legitimate. The energy driving this reading, it would have brought an ending it would have brought an ending to this. That would have actually, if they had been able to come out and do this would have just been ended. It was really, really something that had been wished into being and worked hard on, you guys. So even, they worked on it, they created this document. It was really something that they were feeling pretty secure in. Now, why didn't it happen? He said that when he asked why that didn't take place, he got one sentence or a couple of words: credible threat. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. But this was a legitimate document that the Alliance had actually prepared. The actual typing of it was done by a woman. It would have brought an end to a lot of this BS that we're seeing. A wish fulfillment, and a lot of work went into this. They thought it was a really good strategy, and other leaders around the world were going to participate in this as well. So it would have been great, but it didn't happen. So it didn't happen, and I asked how, um, 45 felt about this, and 45 felt very strong about bringing this to the communities. This would have been the beginning of what moved us out of the troubled water. So we had gotten last week that something in and around that date would begin to move us out of troubled water. It looks like that would have been the thing. But it didn't transpire, unfortunately. But he feels very strong about it. He wanted to bring that to the communities as a way to begin moving us out of this troubled water. All right, so then I asked, the reason why it didn't go through, Phil had said, was because there was a credible threat. And I asked if the threat was actually credible, if that was true. Was there a credible threat? And I did get the Empress, which is a yes for me. So yes, there was actually a credible threat. So, then I had to go into the dark side of things and ask, So, so I asked, give me a story around what the nefarious guys with this credible threat, give me a little story around it. And so I got that they'd been holding on to this for a while. This was like something that they've been holding on to. Should judgment get too close to them, they knew that they could transcend everything and really create a dire situation for people. So it looks to me as though the threat, I got that right there, right? The threat was to us, the population, and so we, the ordinary folk, and they'd been holding on to this. It's like, I told you the other day they're desperate, right? So I think that came up yesterday. They're desperate. So they'd been holding this game plan tight to their chest. When judgment got too close, they were going to transcend everything. And it was going to create a situation that would be terrible for we, the people. It would put us right in dire straits. So the story around the cabal, though, right? So, the story, give me more of a story around these guys and this credible threat. Well, the good news is that in doing this, in letting this threat out, these guys have actually shown a light on things that they'd had hidden. So they sort of tattled on themselves, you guys. The cabal has actually, in threatening this credible threat, the cabal has actually shown a light on some of the things that they still had close to their chest. So in them doing that, we actually got a victory. Because this is stuff that now is known about. All right? So now the Alliance knows about some things that they were unaware of. Right? They know about some things that these guys had up their sleeves that they had prior to that threat that they'd been holding close to their chest, they didn't know about. So they outed themselves. So in their desperation, when judgment was getting too close, they pulled this card out that they've had held close to their chest, right, to transcend everything, because it would create a dire situation for we the people. But in doing so, you guys, they've tattled on themselves. They've shown a light on their own, on things that the Alliance didn't know that they had. So by this threat that was credible, they've actually created a victory for us. because now there's an understanding of some of the other nefarious things that they had up their sleeves. So this is quite a few cards used out of the deck, okay? This is quite a few cards. And it's not that I don't have more questions. It's just that at this point, I would pick up all of these cards and I would clear them and shuffle them. I just clear them because when they're in my hands, they get Reiki. So they automatically get cleared in my shuffling of them. But this is the time that I would do that, you guys. I would start to shuffle and I would ask more questions. But the document that was read to us last night was legitimate and done by the White Hats. That had been the plan. It was probably typed up by a woman. It was going to end some things with a wish fulfillment, showing the work that's gone into this this military mission called Extract. Right? They really felt that it was time. They really felt like they had the majority. The majority, the strength, the power. They had most of what they needed. They didn't think that the bad guys in the background had anything of any strength left. So they had prepared this for more than just 45. It would have been done by several leaders around the world, or at least two. So the threat, yes, it was credible. Donald John Trump, 45, he really felt strong in bringing this message, really strong and confident in bringing this message to the people. And he really felt like this would be the beginning of moving us out of this troubled water. So I imagine he's quite disappointed right now, but I can't go on to ask that until I reshuffle the cards. And, I really can't go into... I want to try to find out what the credible threat was, but it's something that they were holding close to their chest for when judgment got too close to them so that it would transcend everything, because it would create a dire situation for we the people. So last night in the live, Phil was trying to speculate, who the threat would be towards. And, it does, with this layout, it would have been a threat towards us, the population. So they were threatening to do something to us, the population. And the Alliance took that as credible. And Spirit today told me it was credible. Yes. But they tattled on themselves in bringing this threat forward. Now they've shown a light. They've shown a light on their own darkness. So that's actually a victory for us, right? Because now we know, now the Alliance knows something that it didn't before. So I'm going to have a whole other set of questions to delve into. But like I said, I need to pull all of these cards up and clear them and shuffle the deck and think of how to precisely ask these questions, because this is kind of serious stuff. We were very close, and then it seems as though the rug was yarded out from underneath us. But I still feel as though we're very close. I don't know if you guys are all feeling it, but it feels like we're right on the pulse of something. We're seeing a lot of stuff. We're seeing a lot of these false flags. We did see that yesterday or the day before or something. We saw, at one of the readings, we saw that there are moves and counter moves being made. We saw that the deep state is desperate. So I still feel like we're getting close, and I still have very positive feelings around what this spring is going to hold. I have no doubt. We've seen documents getting ready for the transition of power. I mean, we see the stuff in the sky. We know about the, executive orders. There's so much that we do know. Listen, we know that something big is happening, and we do know that it's for our benefit. We've been told over and over again through Spirit, as well as, there's just proof all around us. All we got to do is look. So, yeah, I've got to think of precise questions because, as you know, the cards are very literal. And I want to delve into, probably quite a lot of stuff. I want to delve into how Donald Trump's feeling now. I want to delve into uh, where the dark hats are in this right now. I want to delve into what that threat was and see if we can get some information there. And I want to delve in to see if we're going to be seeing, I want to find out if that threat's been taken care of at this point. I want to find out if we're going to be seeing a document coming out, or that, not a document, but if we're going to be hearing an announcement anytime in the near future. There's so much more that I want to know, but I obviously, I've used a lot of cards, so we want a clear and accurate reading. But this is where we're standing right now. That document was legitimate. Donald Trump felt very strong in bringing that forward to the communities. He felt like that was going to be the beginning of moving us out of that troubled water. This was a legitimate threat, and the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, they've been holding this close to their chest. Judgment was getting pretty close. They decided to transcend everything by pulling this threat out, and it would have affected we the people. It would have put us in dire straits. But the good news is, through pulling out this threat, they've literally tattled on themselves. So by tattling on themselves, now that's actually a victory for us. So that's where we're at right now, you guys, and I'm going to do another reading. And I'll put it up as part 2. But yeah, there's some delving to do. And I just listed off a ton of questions. If I get, depending on how certain questions are answered, I may not have to ask all of those questions. But this will be a series of videos just to get to the bottom of all of this. So I hope that you enjoyed this piece of things. And I'll be back with part 2. All right, you guys, many, many blessings, much love, stay in that love vibration, stay positive, keep manifesting the world we want to see, and keep sending that healing out there. Fill yourself with healing and then send it out there. Jacko says this all the time. He's one of the few people that I actually listen to sometimes. Not all the time, but I do listen to Jacko. And he says, no mission ever goes off the way it was planned. And so I would say this didn't go off the way it was planned. But that does not mean that it won't happen. And we do have a victory because these guys told on themselves. They shone a light on their own nastiness. So now we know of other things that they had up their sleeves that they'd been holding close to their chest. Now we know about it. So that's a victory for us. Because you can't combat something if you don't know it exists. And they just tattled on themselves. All right, you guys, I'll be back. Much love. Stay positive. I'll be back with a second piece to this. All right, take care.